Hello there. Timur's back here. Had a bit of a hiatus from making some videos from the holidays and stuff and trying to get back into it here. Of course, the game's sort of just been on like autopilot at this point, just clearing your BFD raid every 3 days on however many tunes you have. And nothing really too exciting and stuff, which is kind of disappointing that, to me at least, that we're not getting the next phase until the 8th of next month. I know some people are really enjoying it, wanted to maybe level another tune or two, try it out, so not trying to take anything away from them. But it's been a little boring to me. I've been doing some PvP and stuff, like hopping into pre-mates and stuff just for the fun of it. But here at level 25, there's only so much of it you can do. It's not terribly fun to me to just play level 25. It's just twinking, and I've never got into it. So level 40, I'm hoping will feel a lot better. That's what we got up here. So I'm on 60 upgrades, just looking at some Paladin PvP stuff. Just kind of go over this sort of set that I'm looking to grab pretty quick. Raging Berserker Helm is a mel piece, not a plate piece, which of course at level 40 we can finally wear plate. There's just not much. If you go through here, like maybe you use Ice Mel bar boot from Razorfin Downs. It's got a decent drop chance. I mean, you'll get it if you want to get it. Of course, if we were Horde, we could get a Horned Viking helmet. Maybe they'll change that around and we can get this. That'd be kind of cool. But even for PvP, it's got good stamp, good strength, 1% hit, 213 armor versus 383. Kind of just depends on how hard the physical damage is. Maybe you do go with something like this, which isn't too bad. It's got frost res too. Sure. Necklaces, not getting a lot. Like High Tide is still really good, which it's one of those pieces that's kind of eluded me. I keep losing the rolls on it. But there's some decent stuff. I think if you're going like just straight PvP, maybe this just high stam neck piece here is not too bad. But you can just get a strength stam piece now. I don't think would be too rough. Here's a quest reward that's not terrible. No, having some intellect's pretty good. I'm not hating the idea of doing that. Wait, how do you select the enchant? Alright, maybe you just get like a bear or something enchant here. So I had like just a DPS setup, which there's really not much for like raw DPS. I think you're just gonna come in here and get whatever plate piece you can of just strength stam. Of course, Sergeant Cloak is still probably going to be your best PvP cloak. Tattered Hikari from ZG. Yeah, I don't think we're getting that. So yeah, it's probably still just Sergeant's Cloak for PvP. And if you don't have that, you can probably just get some random drop like this. Just like this Warden Cloak right here. Sells for less than a gold. Now this is a quest reward from Badlands. Doesn't have much stam, but that 24 strength is just going to be really hard to beat. You know, if you really just want a stam stack, which I don't hate the idea, but you can still see like this piece here, you know, it's got 15 stamina to this thing's 2 stamina. This has 543 armor. This thing's 340 or 373. And that's just because this is a much lower item level. So I think this is probably going to be what I'm going to be using. Of course, these are reward from Warsong Gold's Exalted, which is why we do pre-mates now, so that we can get this shit when we hit 40. Bonebiter, quest item from Scarlet Monastery. I do believe this is Alliance only, if I remember correctly. But is a really good axe for the level. 3.4 swing speed, 160 high end, 20 strength, 10 stamina. This is not going to get beat outside of the Nomergon raid for sure. You can, of course, pick up a Ravager, but I would not for PvE. You know, this might act. It might come down that you want a Ravager just for an Nomergon and stuff like clearing trash. It could be extremely good. If this procs Seal of Martyr on everything that you're hitting and stuff, you might drop Divine Storm for that and just use Ravager on AoE pulls, which is a lot of fun. I love doing that. True Silver Gauntlets, nice crafted piece. Anybody can get this, and it's pretty good. 16 strength, 7 stam. Again, if you want a little bit more stam and stuff, there are other pieces. Like, but this is a world drop. It's probably going to cost you more than the True Silver Gauntlets, but if you really want that 10 agility for the crit, it's not too bad. Also known as like Crag Fist. Same armor at 300 armor with plus 5 defense, and these this rolls like random enchantments that you see on any other greens. You'll have Crag Fist of the bear, boar, tiger, you know, whatever. So these are just generally really good if you can just get some of the bear Crag Fist. These roll really well too, I think. I don't know why this is saying like of the bear, 10 to 11 of each. 10 to 11 of each stat that it rolls is going to be, you know, it's comparable to this. You just lose out the agility for the defense. But these are going to be a little more obtainable. 48% drop chance. You know, if you didn't want to have to spend some gold, you get these along the way. It just sucks that when you do see them, you're going to get the enchants. You know, when they do drop, they could be owl or boar or something like that, and just not be very useful to you. So don't get baited by them. Just if they drop as you go through, it's a good pickup. These honored with AB. Honored's pretty easy to get, so we don't know either if this new PvP stuff we're going to get in Stranglethorn Valve, which is either going to be amazing and fun to do. STV is, you know, known as ST Vietnam. That's what I used to call it back in the day, because once you hit that zone, man, it was on. It's most people just gave up questing in that zone because it was you're always fighting. Of course, for PvP, I would go the Paladin one with int versus just a little bit more strength, because that 6 int really means a lot on your Crusader strikes, giving you mana back and stuff. And PvP in Battlegrounds really comes down to just mana management. You are a support class. You are going to be casting heals on other players. You're going to be Blessing of Freedom and then Blessing of Protection, casting buffs and stuff. You really just kind of, you frontline, but you don't dive, right? Like the warriors and stuff that are coming in to your group, you stand the ground and just slap them back. The rogues that are coming in, enhancement shamans, you kind of just are smacking them, watching the whole field go around. If they dive your priest, you bop them. If you get a moment to like grenade stun their priest or something, if they're trying to step too far forward, like if their warriors are diving too deep, forcing their priest to come too close to you, well then you just stun them, go on them, blast them. I've really got to where I like Holy Exemplar a lot in BGs for the fear break, just because every group, like, you're just going to be fighting tons of priests right now, and having that fear break seems to be a lot better than the Avenger Sealed Slow, which got nerfed anyway. So I would go this. The leggings, if I can speak at all, these are a quest reward from Scaring Gorge, and they are really good, but they do lack any stam. And as you go through the list here, you get down the Warbringer's leggings, which is just a world drop that just has to roll of the bear or whatever it is that you're looking for you get any like good plate options. So here's where I was looking at going like, oh man, maybe it is maybe do end up with some male leggings, and then look at Scarlet leggings. They're 200 less armor, but 10 more stam, a lot more strength and stuff. So maybe we go with those. I could also see fireman leggings. It's good just to have some fire res. These aren't bad either. Again, a world drop. So let's just say, well, for PvP, we'll go Scarlet leggings. It's not always physical damage dealers that you're going to be dealing with, so it's good to have the stamina. But we'll just have to see, like, on the meta. Like I said, like, generally you're just smacking the other frontliners, right? The other warriors and stuff. But those guys are trying to kill your squishies. And you tend to just get blasted by hunters and mages and elemental shamans and stuff. So having just lots of stamina tends to be the way that you go for just playing like a ret paladin in PvP. Then, of course, back to another League of Aerothor. These are revered, but these are really good because they have the run speed enchant on them. So you can ditch the Pursuit of Justice out of the ret tree. That's even if you are ret. And at level 40, I think I'm probably just going to be spending most of my time as a Reckoning spec anyway. Which I'll go over here in a minute. But I think these are the way they go. Again, just int. We're just not going to have much int to start with. The only thing that kind of makes me think about these, like second guess these, is just going to be what are we going to get out of Nomergon? Because we're going to be getting... You're going to complete a couple lockouts of Nomergon before you hit revered on AB rep, unless you're just off work and you're grinding it all day every day. But you're still, gonna get at least one lockout. Maybe you get a good pair of boots, and these just are kind of irrelevant then. Alright, and you get nice new Protectors band from Silverwing Sentinels, the Warsong rep. And this agility strength Iron Spine Eye is out of SM Graveyard. I think this is a random drop. Not sure. But it's saying 41%, so maybe this does drop off the last boss. But it's pretty good. There's also like Marka Kern. But this is the zone drop. This is really rare. So either you're going to farm it or you're going to pay out the ass for it. So just go with something that you can actually get, because guarantee you we're going to get replacements out of Nomergon anyway pretty quick. Trinkets, Avenger's Pearl, Rune of Duty, which we already have. And of course, you probably won't even be using that anyway. As you can see, we can get some pretty neat engineering stuff, but mostly what I'm excited about is Glimmering Mithril Insignia, which you do have to farm out. It's got like some quest line to it. Is 225, so that we are definitely going to have that, unless they just decide to hold this from the quest options and Tanaris. This thing is really good because it says it requires blacksmithing 225, but if I remember right, you could drop blacksmithing and still use the trinket. But even so, if not, you just, you know, level up engineering and mining, and then mine up a bunch of ore to level your blacksmithing up, and then craft this, and then you're good to go. So yeah, this is basically my sort of, again, not a pre-raid best in slot list. That was definitely have a lot more leather and metal options, such as have strength, agility, and not caring about stamina. This is a PvP build. Now you get into here and start going over some specs. Obviously your deep ret PvE build, right? And this will still be pretty good for PvP. You're gonna have, again, the movement speed from Pursuit of Justice until you get the movement speed boots. But this is gonna slap, getting Vengeance and stuff. But what's really good about PvPing as a deep ret build is Repentance. It is having this nice ranged CC ability that you can land and run up to them. You know, you combine this with engineering so that you've got, you know, another stun. You'll have I don't think we get rocket boots. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to go over all the engineering stuff that we can get. Mostly because I have made my gnome warlock and gotten it up and gotten some gear on it, and it is pretty fun. So I will be playing 2 tunes from now on, I think. But gnomes getting that 15 plus to their engineering skill means you get 240, right? So that means you can get a lot of extra stuff potentially. I just need to look and see what all they can get. Now the build that I'm probably going to be going with for, again, more of a PvP focus. It's going to be something like this. Now, we got extra points. You can come over here and you can do this. Right? You can pick up Benediction. You can get like a point and improve judgment. That's kind of what I was thinking. End up doing. You could also take this Blessing of Sanctuary for tanking, which is like, unless you're doing like tons of AoE stuff, it's just not very necessary. I've been really surprised with the fact that I've been tanking for a couple weeks now, just as two-handed ret, at level 25. I mean, the bosses, they just don't hit that hard. And you just hitting so much harder with the two-hander and a ret spec. You know, you're doing more DPS and you're doing more threat, and it's been perfectly fine. I don't know if that meta is going to continue at 25, where you actually just tank with a two-hander. But again, if you're tanking as a two-hander, you are going ret. You're not going this stuff anyway. So this is sort of like one-hander and shield tanking, with the emphasis on, okay, I'm going to just go in PvP in this same spec. But respeccing's not too expensive. So maybe there just might be you know, where you just have to say, well, it sucks, but I'm going to go and respec constantly. Assuming Nomergon is going to be on the same 3-day lockout again. Be really weird if it was a 1-week lockout, but they might do that. I doubt it. I think the 3-day lockout's pretty good, and just giving people a reason to keep logging on and keep doing stuff. Right? If it was a weekly lockout and people were really just raid logging 1 day a week, it would feel really bad at this point. And it would definitely feel like, man, you got to make that next phase like now. You know, after like 4 or 5 weeks of it, like, people would be done with it for sure. But the fact that we get to do it every couple of days makes it feel a lot better. I don't believe there's any reason to go like deep protection. Holy Shield, it seems pretty good until you look at that 150 mana cost. It's pretty expensive, and this 30% block chance for 10 seconds, depending on how fast the boss is even attacking, even if you blocked every attack, you might not get all the charges off anyway. Like, if the boss has like cast at times and animations, like, you know, Kelris or something, like, you're just not even getting value out of this on certain fights. Holy Shield's always been kind of a bait talent for tanking, and Blessing Sanctuary's only sort of good for those big AoEs. And it's not like, yeah, the damage return is nice, but it's also reducing the damage by a flat amount. Now, of course, it says 10, but this Blessing Sanctuary does level up. You get a couple more ranks, and it does a little more holy damage and a little bit more flat damage reduction. It's only good for huge AoE packs that basically would just nickel and dime you to death. You know, if you've got 20 mobs all hitting you for, you know, 25 damage in auto, like, you know, you're going to get 8 alive. But if you have Blessing of Sanctuary and you're reducing 10 of that damage, and you're only taking 15 from all those mobs, and you're returning that holy damage back, you know, it can become manageable. This is really good for the like Lasher farm in Dire Maul East jump runs, which I was farmed a lot before. So this does have its purpose. It's just a lot more niche than you would think. This isn't just something that you are just going to run with all the time until you get into like 40 mans, where another paladin can have king, like, you can have kings, wisdom, might, and you're giving yourself this Blessing of Sanctuary. That's the only time this gets any value at all, is when you really can't have another buff but this one up, as far as like 40 mans go. But I do think I'm going to probably roll with something like this for PvP. If not this, then you just come over here and you just get the strength, and that one additional point could probably just go into like something like toughness. So I'm going to give you a little bit more armor value. When you're playing like Reckoning here, this is typically how do I want to word this? Guess I should have thought this out a little bit more before I started recording. I'm sorry. When you're playing like a Reckoning build, and you're playing like a Reckoning build, which we're not really wholly we are just sort of Reckoning here, right? We're not getting enough in any of the other trees. So this sort of build is pretty generic, straightforward. I'm going to run at you, just eat a bunch of damage, stacking my Wreck Bomb, and then when I get to you and stun you, I'm going to one-shot you, right? Especially like when it comes down to like this, but this is when I get excited for Seal of Martyrdom. Like this with the Bone Biter, 30% of these on each attack as holy damage with this. Oh my god, you are going to one-shot people. There's no way around it. You're going to one-shot them. You're going to use like Avenger's Shield just for the slow to get up to them. You're going to throw up, you're going to judge Crusader as you're running at them, switch to Martyrdom, stun. When you're close enough, close that gap up and just spam Crusader Strike, and you're just going to get the auto, 5 autos, 5 Seal of Martyrdoms, and your Crusader Strike off. You're going to kill pretty much everyone. Pretty much everyone is going to die to that. And that's what I'm excited about. I think this could break PvP. I think I mentioned this in one of my other videos, where once we get to this point as a Paladin and you have like the raid gear from Nomergon and stuff, unless the other classes are just flat slapping, and I think that's going to be a thing too. I think everybody's going to be doing way too much damage, potentially. I'm not betting the farm on it or anything, right? Just pure speculation. We haven't seen any new runes or new items out of Nomergon or anything like that. That we are going to have a whole new rune slot, and that's going to be another cool damaging button or utility thing that we're going to get, that every class will have. So everybody's going to be doing even more damage with the extra gear they got, the extra runes they got. I don't think PvP is broken at 25. I think it feels pretty good now that hunters have just been nerfed every couple of days. But I worry at 40 that it's going to be completely degenerate, and just whoever gets their opener off first and can just get the opening cast, it's just going to win the fight, and that's going to be that. Is it like who survives this? Does anybody survive this? Right? Like if you're up against a hunter and you throw your Avenger Shield to slow him, sure, he might slow you, but you bless him with freedom that, and you're just running at him. You get in range for the stun. Does he trinket the stun? Like, he's got to trinket the stun, or he's just gonna die if he doesn't. Even mail wearers, right? Even other plate wearers, like, don't you just one shot like most warriors with this stuff? Like I'm already like auto attack critting people for like 300 damage on my Paladin, right? 300 times 5 is 1500 life. That's what most people have right now. Like, if you just gave me Reckoning today, I would be one-shotting people right now. I don't know how anybody... I think this is going to be, like, people are going to start screaming to nerf Paladins when this comes up. I think. Could be wrong. We'll see. On the other note is, like, I hope that they actually give something for Holy to be a thing. Like, I do like playing Holy builds, in PvP, where you just kind of come down here and you get this stuff. And you'd have your like generic sort of Shockedin build here. It would take runes to make this feel on par with a druid or priest in sort of like your pre-made BGs, or just BGs in general, right? Even if you're pugging, like, I don't think you're going to want to take this in and play this when you could just play a priest or a druid, right? This just, I mean, elemental shamans are, not elemental, but rest of those shamans are going to feel pretty good at that point, because they're going to have chain heal and stuff, and actually have air totems at that point. Like, they're going to feel pretty good. I just don't think Holy Paladin's going to feel good enough. Their heals are too slow. You're just not putting out the HPS of a priest or a druid. And that's where their problem lies right now, is like spam. Because they're not healing with a rune spell. They're healing with Flash of Light and Holy Light. The same shit that we've always healed with. They're not up to par of Wild Growth and Penance and Prayer Mending. So I'm hoping that one of them runes that they're giving gives a Holy Paladin something to help him out. Because right now, like, we only ever could heal in raids and stuff before. So I'm assuming that some of our Paladin brothers out there were actually like love playing Paladin. They actually like healing on it and stuff, you know, because if you played Paladin before Classic, you were healing, so you had to bite the bullet on this and had to do it, and you either learned to love it or you re-rolled off of it. So let's just hope that they get something. I don't know what they give red Paladins to deal more damage or prod or anything. Whatever they get, it's unnecessary at that point. It's gonna be really something. So I'm gonna leave this one here, and I'll talk to you next time.